Hello and welcome to the LMI podcast. In this edition, we begin a series where we'll be profiling the different LMI partnerships around the world. To kick off today, we're focusing on the world's newest country, which gained its independence in July 2011. And we're thinking of South Sudan. This is an African landlocked nation sharing borders with the Central African Republic, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Ethiopia, Kenya, Sudan, and Uganda. Now, it's home to more than 12.5 million people with a literacy rate of just 27%. And that's a sad consequence of the nation's history that has been filled with war and conflict and that has stunted development in so many areas. As a nation, it's made up of 10 different states, and the capital city is the city of Juba. The population includes 78 different people groups, 6 of whom are still classified as unreached by the gospel. Almost 60% of the total population are professing Christianity, according to the Joshua Project. Now, the 2 largest people groups in the nation are the Dinka and the Nuer peoples. And the people of South Sudan have experienced bitter civil conflict for many years prior to independence. And sadly, conflict continues to torment the development of this young nation today. In the summer of 2016, conflict between the government and opposition forces flared once more. That sparked a mass humanitarian crisis, which led to millions being displaced and widespread food shortages leading to famine. This is a nation very much in need of prayer and support, where life for its people is extremely difficult. LMI's connection to this land goes back to 2007, prior to its independence, when our partnership with Reverend James began. Now, Reverend James is our Overseas Ministry Coordinator for South Sudan, and he is a very special man. He's part of a generation that were known as the Lost Boys of Sudan. That's a title given to an entire generation of male refugee children who fled their country as a result of the toll of conflict and war. Reverend James was forced to leave his home village at just 13 years of age, fleeing on foot into neighbouring Ethiopia. And after moving to a refugee camp in Kenya, he gave his life to Christ and was later ordained as a pastor. And incredibly, he returned home, where he has since been used of God to pioneer the planting of 50 churches in the Wau district in a western state of the nation. Our partnership in South Sudan has seen us provide relief for the needy, distributed through local links forged by our coordinator, Reverend James. In addition, we've also raised funds to distribute thousands of copies of the Dinka New Testament and to sponsor literacy classes to support educational development, which will also enable people to enjoy the blessing of reading the scriptures in their own language for themselves. To date, we have sent 2 teams to conduct overseas ministry programs, one of which included Kenyan and Hungarian team members. Through these programs, we provided leadership training. This is, of course, a vital need, not only in South Sudan, but in many nations around the world. According to a recent study from the Center for Global Christianity, only 5% of pastors currently ministering around the world are trained for pastoral ministry. Lastly, we've been able to purchase over 100 bicycles for pastors and evangelists to use as they travel between towns and villages in what are predominantly rural areas. So how can you help with our partnership in South Sudan? Well, firstly and most importantly, you can pray for this nation and its people. Our coordinator, Reverend James, asks for prayer in the following 5 areas. He says, please pray for lasting peace to be restored in South Sudan and for the National Peace Agreement to be fully implemented. Please pray for God to bless and direct the political leadership of the country. Please pray that many families would be able to access basic survival needs in the aftermath of conflict and famine. Please pray that God will give us strength and courage to continue providing hope to the hopeless. And please pray that the international community will act to save lives in South Sudan, to propose solutions that are relevant and effective. Secondly, you can support our partnership in South Sudan financially. For details on how to do this, please visit our website at www.lmi-org.net if you would like to give towards our work in this nation. Now, for further information, you can find us on Facebook, searching for Logos Min International, and you can follow updates on Twitter and Instagram using the handle LMI_connect. Thanks for listening, and do tune in next time.